Arsenal lost. Leeds beat United, which is crazy.
That happened. That happened a couple hours ago. Actually.
Yeah, and City look very, very well in form. Especially they just have the league now, So just having the league is kind of like a plus for them, where they don't really have to think about the Champions League. Just think about the game.
Yeah. Do you think that them kind of bouncing out of the Champions League kind of early, is that partly what's allowing them to kind of gather and accrue this form?
I feel like yes, in a sense.
They look less ragged.
Because they now, if you don't have to figure out, or if you don't have to play in the Champions League, you can allocate all the resources you have to just figure out how to play day in, day out in the league itself. And if you look at right now, actually, this is just based on City statistics. Most of the time, at this time of the year, they play very well.
That is true.
It looks like they have been figuring how to put A and B together, and it's kind of working, especially if you don't have to win the Champions League.
Exactly.
Or play the Champions League.
When they hit slumps, it's usually around Christmas.
Yeah.
And, usually, and the way it's gone for the last 4 years or so, Arsenal hit strong.
Mm-hmm.
And they cruise all the way into December. Usually, that's how that goes. And at the business end of the season, in March and April, they tend to drop a few more points. And really, City now, the only matches that you have are in the Premier League. You know the style of play.
Yeah.
You know what's expected in the leagues. You've seen most of these teams, year after year, twice a year.
Yeah.
And it's like you're able to define more of what your squad actually is.
Yeah.
Tactically, you're not having to rearrange much, because you do have to change your tactics moving from playing a Bundesliga side to coming back home in England, and then an FA Cup with maybe a third or fourth division team fielding a B squad. It's like, no, you have just enough games now to where your A squad can go out every single weekend.
Yeah.
You know exactly what to expect from all of these clubs, both big and small, in the Premier League.
Definitely.
I see no reason why their form cannot continue in this way.
Yeah, I think it, especially the league, it will come down to game management on Arsenal part. And I know they have a lot of injured guys, but I don't know if we can start calling that as an excuse, because
because Jurrien Timber being the starting right back, he is by far the number one right back, but Ben White's form should not be that poor. So it's not really about the squad depth.
No.
You have Ben White starting now.
Yeah.
He was your starter several seasons ago. But there's no real response to the form.
Like the real problem. I know we can all fish around for problems, but it cannot just be those problems, because it's not the only team in this world.
Right.
Because those other teams that have been winning have had problems like that. So I wonder what's the real problem. Now they're also in a bit of a predicament here, because now they have to play Sporting, and they won 1-0, not convincingly.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and you got City. You playing City on the weekend.
Yeah.
So do I go all in out? Then I risk losing the game to City, because my players might be tired.
Well, because we talked about it several months ago as well. Maybe a month and a half ago, the Manchester City match in the league was not that important. You could have lost that, because you had 9-point difference with only one game in hand. You could effectively have gone to City, lose the game, or just hold off for the draw and it not matter that much. But it is every coming week since that game is becoming more and more important in terms of what it actually does mean to the title for both sides here.
Yeah.
So this is effectively now the Man City game on the 19th. That's a playoff game now.
Yeah, the both games is. I remember we were talking about Arsenal winning the quadruple. 4.
No, we weren't. We were talking about
we as the world.
We were talking about them. They were active in 4 competitions. We weren't talking about them winning all 4 competitions. I don't think anybody actually humored that as a possibility.
But think about it though. You had the possibility to be great in all these. Now it looks like the dream is fading away. But you have Sporting. You want to be still competitive in the Champions League, so you got to weigh your pros and cons. Do I just go and put a kind of a team and always losing to Sporting? Because I think if I win the league, it will be much more desirable for my fans than to win the Champions League, especially on my team like that. What do I do?
Yeah,
because you can lose against City,
and it's bringing this sort of negative style of play into the Champions League doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I understand that the Premier League is a very negative style of play right now. Everybody kind of fights for a draw because they don't want to take the chance of losing, so they don't push to win either, because they want to stay mid-table and not get relegated from the league and lose all this broadcasting rights and all these extra sources of income. But like these Portuguese sides, like they don't play that way. So like you're trying to be negative and overly defensive because you're scared, like you are in the Premier League, because everyone in the Premier League is playing that way right now. But like these attacking-minded sides, like Sporting has nothing to lose in this game right now. Like they have a 1-0 deficit to overcome, which is very possible. And if they, you know, what's the worst case scenario here? That they bounce out in the quarterfinal. Like that doesn't matter to them. They're already at a good position here, and that they look more energetic and more interested in taking chances that lead to results.
And you think about it, the Sporting is gonna go all out because I have nothing to lose.
Exactly,
and that's what you observe in the Premier League right now. There are teams that, especially those mid-table teams at this time of the year, Arsenal, I think they still have to play Newcastle.
Yep,
these teams. It doesn't
Fulham, West Ham, who in the past have had a history of taking 1 to 3 points off of Arsenal at the back end of the season here. Like these are real.
Especially this time of the season, they were taking from anyone.
Yep.
You know, Leeds just took some from United today.
Yeah. So. Well, 2 seasons in a row, Fulham and or West Ham late in the season were the reasons that Arsenal dropped those points.
Nah, that don't look too good. When you look at City though, do you feel like, especially with the emergence on the form of O'Reilly, Cherki looking really good.
Yeah.
Do you feel like Pep might stay? Because he's thinking.
I don't know.
I feel like Pep is playing some kind of gambling game here, where if he feels like it's time to bail out, because I don't want to bear the responsibilities of a failing team, so it doesn't affect my legacy, I'm out.
I still think that he goes. I think that morale is really interesting in these sports, where you know. It was dismal around December, and he's picking it up now. And it's not necessarily that the relationship's over. We understand this. He just wants to leave it in a positive state. One, because the squad looks better that way. He looks better that way if he leaves, going out on top. Still, that's nice instead of sticking around for when you are at your lowest, and then you're leaving and you're free on the market. It's like no. He still wants to go, I think, but he wants to hit the highest marks possible for this side, because I think that it sort of increases everybody's value, the club, the players in the club, and himself in the process.
That makes sense. I mean, I just wonder. Now, the next question, we can finish on this one. Do you feel like if Arsenal bottled this one, what will be I don't want to say repercussion, but what will the team and the club think of Arteta?
Yeah.
Is it time to kind of reevaluate?
I think so. Yeah, because it's the club's been very sort of positive in terms of every season evaluating what was missing, and then stepping up and making those changes. The defense was threadbare when a couple seasons ago when Saliba had that injury, and then a lot of goals were conceded, and you lost points late in the season. A new forward, and then Gyökeres comes in, and while he didn't achieve what he was supposed to, Arteta said, I need this, and the club did need it, and the club answered. They said, yes, okay, fine. Yeah. You get a rotation player in Madueke for Saka. They're listening to what is needed for the squad, maybe not just for the manager themselves, but they're looking at the building this very high caliber and dense squad. There is no excuse now at this point. There have always been genuine reasons for coming up short, and the club itself has done a very good job at filling in those cracks. But now, really, it would just come down to the inability to change. I don't know why he's playing such a negative way, and I don't know why he doesn't see that it's not working and that the players are not making the most. He's handcuffing them, and then wondering why they can't step up. It's like you're not allowing them to step up, and to me, it's obvious. It's frustrating watching these players do this.
There's a fear of the fact that the players might be at this point of the or at this time of the year be a little bit tired.
Sure, but again, they've brought in so many new players to keep the squad fresh, and even if you do have injuries, the squad depth in Arsenal is deeper than the overwhelming majority of the Premier League sides anyway. So everybody's tired, and you brought in these guys to get you over the line in circumstances like this. But if your tactics are affecting morale, and that's the reason that you can't move to the next level, then it's the manager's fault.
Yeah, I think so too, in a sense. But we shall see. Let's say City still have a game in hand. They got to play Arsenal, so there's a possibility for them to time this thing around.
Those motherfuckers.
I don't know.